Hi everyone, I'm Scott Stokely and I am going to show you the coolest approach shot that you're not going to use all the time, but you will have situations for sure where this is going to be your shot. It's also a shot that almost every player in the world, including, and I'm sorry to say this, most top professionals are throwing wrong. Now first, just because I'm traveling the world does not mean Stokely Method seminars aren't happening still. I have two Disc Golf Pro Tour touring pros, Philip Bartholomew and Jonathan Nicholson, teaching full-day Stokely Method seminars all over the US. Tickets just became available. So if you know my seminars, they all sell out. Go to scottstokely.net if you want to come to one of those seminars. And my Tour Series Assassin from Gateway just launched. This is the best roller disc I have ever thrown. I'm gonna make a whole video about how to roll, but these are available at scottstokely.net. Now, let's get to the approach shot. So before I explain it to you, I gotta go over one piece of disc theory you have to understand before you'll understand why you want to throw this throw. And it's a real simple idea, but that is, turnover rollers are far more predictable than cut rollers. Let's say, for example, you were going to throw a sidearm roller. If you had an obstacle that you could throw to the right of or to the left of, and you're right-handed, you would always opt for a turnover roller that you stood up and turned over to the left or on the obstacle over a sidearm cut roller that hits and rolls to the right. It just has to do with the fact that you have a smaller margin for error with a turnover roller than a cut roller. Cut rollers are nearly impossible. Turnover rollers are relatively easy. So if given the option, always choose the turnover roller. So here's the situation you're going to run into. You have a short approach shot. Again, for right-handed players, you reverse this if you're lefty, but you have a short approach shot, but you have to go left of an obstacle and turn the disc to the right, but you're forced to throw a roller. There's a canopy of trees. There's situations you have to roll it. You cannot get there in the air left to right. The vast majority of players in that situation will incorrectly throw a sidearm cut roller that hits left and rolls right. That shot is nearly impossible. Now, the reason why players incorrectly throw it, however, does make sense on the surface. And the reason is, it's hard to throw a turnover roller because if you were to throw a backhand that turned right, you would have to lean all the way back, throw the disc up here. If you want a sharp turn, you'd have to actually throw it inverted. It's such an awkward throw that players will opt for the incorrect cut roller. Well, the reality is, there's a very simple way to throw a turnover roller in that situation. Now, I'll warn you in advance, it looks a bit unusual. Go out to the field and try it. After watching me I'll be doing a demonstration in just a minute. It is so easy. It's so much easier than you think when you first see it. But here's how you're gonna do it. Now, I'm gonna do this towards the camera. So towards the camera, that means I wanna throw a shot that goes to the right and turns left, and the sidearm cut roller is incorrect. Here's all you're gonna do. You take your disc, you hold it in your hand. This, by the way, is for more or less approach shots, right? So 50 to 150 feet. So you hold it like a putter, even grip it like your putter, and then take the disc, turn it straight up, and then roll the disc up your forearm, and then don't roll it into your bicep, roll it outside of your bicep. Okay? All you're gonna do then, now that the disc is vertical, is you're gonna step with your opposite leg and you're gonna set the disc down on the ground. It's literally as easy of a throw as this. You're just uncoiling your arm. Now, some of you have seen Jeremy Colin do the really cool pterodactyl throw that might look similar to you. It's an amazing shot, what Jeremy does. No one in the world has done that shot better than him, ever. But it's a trick shot. It's a fun shot where this has become a lean sideways, throw an air shot with an air bounce. Hats off to Jeremy. That is not what this throw is. This is a roller. Up the arm, step, and straight down the arm. Now, here's why the shot's so simple. You have complete control over the line you hit and the angle of the disc. And even if you've been playing for a week, you can look at a shot and know exactly what angle you need to put on it to get it to roll around something. We all know the line you want to hit. Well, here's how you're going to make those two corrections. You're going to be rolling the disc straight in front of you. So that is the line the disc is going to roll on. Elbow pointed straight in front of you. If you want to change your line, you do not change your line this way. The elbow remains here. You change your line by turning your entire body. You're going to step this way, or you're going to step this way. But that's how you change the line. So the line is a piece of cake. Then you want to change the angle of the disc. If you have your arm straight up and down, the disc is flat. Turn that elbow this way. The disc is more inverted. It's going to cut more. Turn the elbow more this way. The disc is more right side up. It's going to cut that way. But the angle of the disc, you change this way. That's why this shot is so darn easy. Pick your line, pick your angle. Now, I'm going to demonstrate in a second. Now, in order to generate more power on my demonstration, I'm not just going to step forward. I'm actually going to wind up back here. But with a little bit of practice, you'll find that right here still winds up in the exact same spot. Now, I had to shoot this a few weeks ago. The audio portion didn't work, so that's why I'm reshooting this here in Australia. But the thing I want you to look for on this video, this is the coolest thing, why this shot is so easy. When you watch the throws, you'll notice they don't all land in the same place, yet they all wind up under the basket. And the reason why is this shot has a built-in self-correction. If I hit my line this way, the disc goes to a certain spot. If I miss my line to the left, even though I'm aiming more left, I am simultaneously inverting the disc more, which means it's going to turn sharper to the right. If I mess up, the disc self-corrects to the same spot. It is just go out and try this throw and you'll see what I mean. So check out the video of me throwing some of these, and then afterwards I'm going to tell you the history of the name of this, because it's kind of a longer story, but not everybody wants to hear the history, so I saved it for the end. But this is how you throw this shot. Now, one last tip. Far easier to use a non-beveled edge disc for this shot. I prefer the Berg. The reason why is that if I wanted the shot to land straight up and down, it could be on a bevel and a point, not a problem. But if you want to cut that shot and you want to really hit the ground and jam off to the right really fast, a flatter surface is a larger surface to hit. A beveled edge disc has a tendency to hit at this angle and then slide out from underneath you. No big deal, easy solve. Just throw your Berg or your non-beveled edge disc. All right, so that was not multiple takes. And even though those shots worked, you will be just as good at that shot as I am after like 10 minutes of practice. I mean, I cannot stress this enough. It looks unusual. It is so easy. Stop throwing sidearm cut rollers on your approach shots. You're wrong, promise. All right, now as far as the name of it, this shot has an interesting history to the name, because the actual term, the correct term for this throw is a scuba roller. Now, that's confusing because we all know Brodie Smith throws a shot that doesn't look anything like that, which is basically a tomahawk or a hammer upside down across the chest of the throw. Brodie is not wrong. That is also called a scuba. So here's the history and why I think we need a name change. So this throw right here, but not a roller, this shot thrown in the air, was created for a game called Double Disc Court by Gerry Geare in right around 1978, 1979. He was the pioneer of this throw. I give Gerry Geare credit for inventing the scuba. Now, as far as the scuba roller, I don't believe there is an inventor to that throw, because everybody that played back then played double discord, and when they played double discord, they would use double discord throws on the golf course at times. So anybody that played in the 70s and early 80s threw scuba rollers on approaches sometimes, or at least they were capable of it. Then about 10 years later, ultimate players started really using this throw in the mid to late 80s, and they also called it scuba. That made things confusing, to say the least. So here's my suggestion. I think we need to rename this throw. Even though it came first, even though this is technically a scuba, there are a few hundred people that play double discord, and there's like 10 million that play ultimate. Ultimate wins. We're not reclaiming the name from ultimate players. So I think we should concede the name scuba to ultimate. And I think I would like to propose that we rename this throw in double discord the Geare. Why not name it after the founder? And Geare kind of sounds like a round thing. I mean, I think it's a cool name. So this shot right here, I think should be called the Geare in double discord. No one has to listen to me. That's just my idea, but it would make things a lot less confusing. Now, as far as the Geare roller, I've heard people, because I used this shot on tour, refer to it as the Stokely roller. I certainly didn't invent the throw. I never want credit for inventing a throw that I didn't invent, but I have been popularizing it. And so if people choose to call this the Stokely roller, I would be flattered. But make sure when you call it that, you also mention, Scott didn't invent that throw. Gerry Geare did. Gerry Geare. So anyways, that's the history of it. This is actually called a scuba roller, but that's confusing. So I think a name change might make the world of Frisbee flying disc sports less confusing. All right, thanks everyone.